Welcome, everyone. Hello. I hope you can hear me. My name is Piotr Szczepaniuk. This presentation will be in English. I'm Polish. We can talk in Polish after presentation. I will leave contact to me. And the presentation today will be about agentic AI workflow for QA, the future of test automation. Let's start. Let me introduce myself. I have over 18 years of experience in QA. I was on different levels. I started as manual tester. I've been for a moment software developer, but most of my career work as a test automation engineer. And the last year, I work as a lead or quality manager or even head of QA. And in my career, I worked mostly for big high-tech companies like Samsung, Ericsson. I worked 3 years abroad, and recently I'm working for ASECO. I have some new contract for Allianz. So let's start. Okay, so agenda for today, I would like to start from AI bubble, where we actually are in current AI bubble. Next, we'll talk a bit about some history, how AI changed QA and test automation over the years, and what is the prediction for the future. And then we compare traditional test framework to agentic QA workflows. In the middle of presentation, I will do a short demo. Demo will be about agentic QA workflow, which using Cursor and Playwright. But don't worry, you can, if you're working with any other IDE with Copilot, then I'm pretty sure it will be still valid for you. This is just demo example. And then I will share some lesson learned from developing unit test integration end to end, and generally working with agentic integrated development environment. In my case, I working with the Cursor. And some summary at the end, how I see the future, some prediction, speculation about QA test automation in AI world. Okay, so let me start. So please raise your hand or just add icon with hand raised. Who remember.com bubble in 95 to 2000? Another way is internet bubble. I know I'm old, so I still remember this .com bubble. Uh, Maybe not so many of you remember dot-com bubble, but probably most of you remember crypto bubble, which we had already a few times, but probably the most popular was in 2017. Also, please raise hand or add a comment who remember that. Again, me, I even invested and sold some bitcoins during this bubble. Unfortunately, too early. But why I'm talking about that? Because as you probably know, there's a lot of discussion right now, probably even too much. There's hype on AI. And the issue is that according to research based on bigger company, about 90% of AI pilots failed to deliver value. And there are like many issues related to it. One of the major issues is that it is hard to measure business impact. There's also some kind of sometimes weak integration into real workflows, and we have no clear high value use cases. And sometimes people with the new technology afraid about taking ownership and execute this and be driver for AI. And what I did, I tried to do some research. I have used Google Trends, where we actually are in AI bubble right now. And I have used the phrase AI bubble. And the current state is that probably we are somewhere on the top of AI bubble hype or even after. And if we lesson learned from my experience, investing on a peak, on a high, probably this is not the best idea. And my prediction is that in the future, probably AI will become, it is already becoming a little bit like too much discussion about the AI usage. It may even receive some bottom. But if that means that internet doesn't exist anymore, it does mean that crypto doesn't exist anymore. No, probably not. The bigger companies, the bigger crypto values in all bubbles actually stay. And the question is, when is the best time to invest into bubble? From my experience, the best time is when the people stop talking too much about AI, and then probably it is the best time to invest it, because in the long term, there's high potential that AI will stay with us forever. And this is almost sure. So still, it's not too late to learn how to use AI, how to use it in QA. Okay, but my my experience and comparison is that we probably are in 2007 for Bitcoin bubble, maybe a little bit after. Everyone talk about AI, but few really understand how to use it in the right way. Small group building it means that in the future they can be big winner. So AI might be one of the bigger opportunity of our career. So I think right now we should start and learn, invest time, how to use it, experiment, even if this is even a bit of too early, or you are sometimes frustrated because those models tools are changing such quickly, it doesn't give you a value, but over the time they're better and better. So probably is right now, or for a moment, will be the best time to just learn, because this technology will stabilize. So I don't want to repeat my Bitcoin mistake that I sold Bitcoin at the beginning of the bubble. I would like to invest into AI long term. So, okay, this is not financial advice. Let's talk about QA, right? QA and AI right now. How AI changes QA and this automation. So if we have a look on the timeline and historically, before on pre 2000 year, the most popular way of testing was manual testing. In early 2000, automation scripts come to the market. There was a rise of the record and play tools. Maybe some of you remember I used Selenium IDE just to record and play script and run some test automation. In 2010-15, there was rise of CI/CD and DevOps integration. There was high for agile way of working, DevOps way of working. And in 2022, right now, I think big trend, and probably you as well, for AI and AI-driven testing using Agentic AI self-healing test, and using AI everywhere during software development and during developing test and test automation. So how I changes the QA test automation. So if we have a look on this diagram, depending what your role is, but if you're not using AI, probably quality manager has the most of the resources. Something which is a little bit better is test automation leader. He has even more power. Tester without any support with AI workflows probably has the lowest value right now. But if you If you tester who knows how to use different AI tools like Cursor, like AI models, like N8N workflow, probably you can have a lot of more power, and you can do and work much more tests in the minor tab. So let's maybe compare what is the difference and what actually is definition of traditional test automation framework comparing to ideal Agentic QA workflow. So traditional test automation framework is script or code-based framework, for instance, Selenium Playwright, that executed predefined test cases for us. Agentic QA workflow, this is autonomous AI agent that plan, execute, monitor, and adapt testing tasks dynamically across the different life cycle, but still with minimal human interaction. What is very important that even if you have the best AI workflow, still we need to put human in the loop. We need to control it. We need to be driver of that. We don't want to give the whole power and drive to AI workflows. A human is still essential. And if we break down different phases of testing, at the beginning, we have the phase which is responsible for creation of test plan and test case generation. And here I just try to estimate and compare how it was in traditional test automation workflow and Agentic QA workflow, and estimate how much time we can save. So for the test case test plan generation, it is about 30 to half of hours writing test cases we can save. Of course, I was trying to have here some realistic estimation without being too optional. And I break down this to different phases, and quite a lot of time can be saved for development of test automation because writing code is generally difficult. And if you give the good test cases, the good test plan as an input, development of test automation can be much more faster, and you can save a lot of time. But of course, you need to spend time for giving feedback and controlling if those automated scripts are testing. And then we're moving to the different phase, the testing of test automation. Here, probably we cannot save so much time, because if the automated script is generated, we're just executing it and checking if it is passing or failing, and spending some time on debugging. Maintenance of test automation, this is another, like, the phase of testing where we can save quite a lot of time. About 50 to 70% maintenance effort can be achieved. On average, being skeptical about how much time we can save, right now I saving about 60 to 70% of my time going through the different phases of developing test automation. So let me share with you a little bit more about Agentic QA workflow, which I designed together with Cursor and Playwright test agent. So I have breakdown this framework, this workflow for planning phase, when I'm creating test plan and writing test plan to MD files under test plans MD. I'm also in next phase, development. I'm generating Playwright tests into end-to-end tests or API tests. This framework is focused on integration, API test, and UI test. It's not for unit testing, because unit testing need to have different context for the source code. Next, I testing if the generated playwright test actually working as expected, and everything almost is done automatically. So during this phase, I'm automatically NPX playwright tests are executed. And in the next phase, this agent healing. It's suggesting minimal fixes based on the failures and resolving failed test. And at the very end, we have Markdown file with the report with a summary, how many tests passed, how many failed, what kind of issues we had during development of those test cases, and how those issues were fixed. So the summary of working of this workflow, QA workflow with Cursor and Playwright. And then when it is finished, you can run test manually with the standard NPX Playwright test. Okay, so here is just some diagrams how those phases are working with moving through different phases. Generally, there's layer for test agent orchestration, which focusing on orchestrating, planning, developing, running, healing tests. When we generating test cases, it's working this way that during this planning phase, it's just using Playwright MPC to navigate, explore the page under test. It's analyzing some user flows, and based on this exploration, it's working like the human. Human, when would like to write a test plan and test cases, need to explore a bit, learn about the page, and based on that can create test cases. This is just demo. You can give extra as well context in the prompt what you would like to test apart from this exploration phase. But in this example, I will show you how it is working by just asking to run the test for the specific page with minimum context about what should be tested. Next, in the phase of development, it's generate. There's new agent use generator agent, which taking as an input test plan, test cases, and this example is specific for API testing. It's checking also and testing API context and executing steps manually and generating test codes. In let me share here. In next phase, we have testing phase when we executing NPX Playwright test, executing test and checking if the test passed or failed. If the test passed, then we moving to the report. But if there are any failing tests, we moving to the healing phase when we just rerunning and debugging. When I say we, I have in mind agent. Actually, this killer agent is rerunning failed tests and trying to identify debug failures, give as much context from the Playwright report, and apply fixes. And only when all tests will pass, it's moving to the final phase, which showing to generating to us a test report. So let's have a small summary, and this is just visualization what I mentioned here. The test agent demo cursor rules, this is like the markdown file which contain different rules how those agents should work. It's just orchestrating and moving from different phases. I'm using Playwright test agent markdown files as engine for planning test cases, generating and healing them. I'm using as well MCP Playwright test server. And what Cursor is doing is orchestrating and making sure that if we are using Planner, then it is instruct that it should generate test plan test cases to the testing folder. It should instruct that generator from Playwright test agents should generate test cases to the specific API or end-to-end folders. And at the end, I'm expecting to have the report with the developed test. I'm for demo. Let me just present to you a demo. I have this already recorded.
If you will go to GitHub of Automate project and then you will select this agent demo repository, you can clone it, or you can use it in your project by going to the use this template and create new repository. To clone project, just open command line or PowerShell and just use git clone command, copy it from GitHub project URL, and then you can start using your project. Then test agent demo folder is created. So go to the test agent demo project, type cursor dot, and it will automatically open a cursor project for you. So let's have a look on the project structure. Starting from cursor rules, there is a test agent.mdc file, which contain the major rule for configuration of test agent with description about different phases, plan, develop, test, heal, report. There are like some kind of instruction. You don't replace the Playwright agent. You should orchestrate it. And like I mentioned before, it's using Playwright AI test agent and reusing planner, generator, healer chat modes, which are shown here. And it's also using MCP configuration, which is located under .vs code in MCP JSON. And later on, we have more detailed description on different phases. During planning phases, it should generally act using behaviors from a planner chat mode.md and produce a short, clear markdown plan, including scope, the scenario, steps, executed results. You can modify those rules as you need. For develop, it will refer then to generator chat mode MD file. And as output, I'm asking to generate Playwright test. For sake of this demo, it is for UI and API test. During testing, I'm asking to execute npx Playwright test. And later on, after output is pasted, summarize passing failing tests, identified flaky patterns. And during healing phase, it's referring to chat mode healer, where we should diagnose causes, propose minimal code fixes, and update selectors, weights, or other assertion. And in report, we should produce a short markdown test report with scope, test result, failures, hearing done, and recommended saving. And there is some example of the prompts which we should use. You can check all configuration of planner taken from Playwright test agent, generator and healer. And what is also part important file here is this MCP file. Is located under .vs code. And it is worth also to check PRD, where generally are on the high level described what is the purpose of this project, generally to demo how we can use Playwright AI agents with the cursor orchestration rules to test some example demo pages for UI and for API. And the workflow must automatically generate test plan, Playwright test, healing suggestion, and execute report. And at the end, we have a README file with all details needed to install around this workflow. As we can see in README file, We have description how this agent demo is working. This is Agentic QA workflow demo created in Cursor together with Playwright. It contains Playwright tests together with Playwright test agent, which planning, generating, and self-healing issues found during this automation. On top of that, I created different cursor phases, starting from plan. It's a creating test plan based on MCP Playwright automation. Next, developing automated tests, running those tests, and healing failed tests. At the end, we have report. In this demo, I will show you how to run automated UI tests for source demo page. As we can see in the source demo page, we are able to log in. This is generally e-commerce shop where we can add to the cart different product and later on just buy them. From another hand, we are also able to run API tests as at least we will give access to the Swagger. It can also create test cases for API. It is important as precondition for running and using this QA workflow to configure MCP server. You should copy configuration of MCP server. The name needs to be Playwright test. It is important that the name exactly is Playwright test because it is used in configuration of the child modes. It's using Playwright tests as a tool to match this workflow. And as you can see, you just need to copy this Playwright test and paste to your cursor settings MCP server. If you will, I have it configured already. It needs to be green. If you click edit button or you will click new MCP server, it will go to the server. You need to paste here Playwright test, and then it should work as expected. Time for demo. I have pasted from the README file prompt to run the test agent demo loop for the specific page source demo, and I will execute it right now. It should start first from planning test cases using Playwright MPC server. It will, like human, open this page and try to explore it, learn it, check what is can be clicked, how it's working, and based on this exploration phase, the phase of the planning test cases, it will create and write test cases to empty file. It's right now checking different options, executing some actions on a page related to the cards, related to the inventory. We can see in console here, it just checking different products and generally learning about checkout, how this e-commerce is working. And when it is done, it will write everything to test plan. As we can see here, it's also checking another test cases. And after exploration phase, which I can see taking probably the most of the time, to learn how to test this page, it will generate test cases. As we can see right now, it's successfully ordered a new product. So we are close to the end of this planning phase. And for a moment, it will exactly right now, it will write test cases to test plan folder to source demo plan empty file. We can see it's working on documentation of test cases with steps to reproduce, expected steps, and description of the features which should be tested here, and it's a fully automatic process. So for a moment, we should be able to see the result from this test plan. And I can see it's right now start to develop automated tests, but let's have a look for a moment on generated test plan. It needs to just refresh, and then we can see what test cases it has generated. So let's open it in open preview mode, and we can see the features, the test scenarios which it has generated, and various test cases created for this scenario. And if we back to the agent, we can see that based on the input from the test plan, it already generated automated playwright test. And right now it's running all of those tests, 24 of them, in parallel using 4 workers. And we can see that some of those tests, automated tests, already passed. 12 are in progress, 11 are passed right now, and when it will finish, it will just only rerun those failed tests if there will be something, and at the end generate report. Okay, only one test has failed. So right now I can see it's moving to the phase 4, which is for healing, fixing, and a failing test. It's going to fail at tests. As I think, as I am, we will check what happened later, but usually the problem is with some selectors or waiting to page to be loaded, the typical stuff. But a very good result. The 23 tests on 24 have worked on the first time. We can see right now it's just rerunning those tests, checking, and this test which failed before have passed already. So like usual test automation engineer, we need to rerun all tests at the end to make sure that the tests which have been fixed didn't break another test. So right now, at the end, we're rerunning all tests with different test cases about authentication, shopping cart, checkout flow, everything which was defined in a test plan. And if all of them will pass, it should generate a test report with the information how many tests have passed, how many failed. But let's hold a few seconds more. And yes, 24 tests have passed already. So it has moved to the last phase when we can generate report and check the status of those tests. So it's working on final documentation with the result of the test. When it will be done, it is done right now. I will open it, and let's open it in preview mode to see the results. And we can see that test was run, 24 of tests have passed. It took 51 seconds, and here we have statuses of all test cases and healing actions which have been performed. Yes, like I was expecting, it is related to the page reload.
Okay, so that was the demo, how this is working in live. The whole like run, the full run of this test, including all phases, took about 15 minutes, and then we have working test cases. So it's saving a lot of time. Of course, this is demo. This is for some basic test and remark. Here, it's this workflow you can use if you know that your page is working. It is more for regression testing. So you know that your application is working at the beginning, and you would like to develop regression test here. Um, okay, let's summarize my lesson learned developing various type of the test, including integration tests, end-to-end test, working with agenting IDEs. You need to always remember that those kind of workflows works the best if you create different phases. If you break down this to the different phases, starting from the planning and documenting those phases in Markdown files. Typical input, typical files for agentic workflows is to define at the beginning a PRD. This is like product requirement definition and plans described in empty files. And later on, during development, you're going through the planet work, through the different tasks. And you, as a human, you should check if the specific task was done properly or not. And my use case is I always asking and using cursor rules that I should confirm that the task is done. And there's also nice trick right now that you don't need to repeat and write the same prompts again and again. You can define prompts in the command and document it and store in the repository. And what is also something which worked for me is that you should maintain version in control system from day one. So if your agent will start to hallucinating, you can always roll back. So you have if you committing and pushing quite often, you have possibility to revert quite quickly. Using good idea is also using different branches, just using version control system from the beginning of developing those workflow. And best practices using cursor from based on my experience and agentic workflow, using one agent per specific task in tab. So in cursor or in visual code, if you working on quite big task, you can reach the maximum context window. That simply speaking, your conversation will be too long. So it's always good idea just to create open new tab, give a context what you're trying to do, and one tab should be specific to one task. This is something which, so break down big task to the smaller one and ask agent to work on the smaller task, work with the different phases and reviewing, putting human in the loop all the time. And models are changing, of course, is the best to use the best model, but they need to be also at the same time quite cheap. And remember about validation, what was generated by agent and giving it feedback as often as possible. And my testing strategy metrics, which I'm using for agentic QA environment, is to set in PRD clear acceptance criteria when we think that this requirements, this tests are finished. There might be various metrics that might be coverage metric for unit tests, which probably will work quite well. To measure efficiency of AI workflow, you can also measure how many tests have passed for the first time, how many failed for the first time, and as more pass for the first time, that means that your AI workflow works better. And allow also AI agent to fix bugs with some peers, but always remember to use human review. One use case which I have used in my work also for agent is that if you have in your company Sonar Cube for static code analysis, It's giving a lot of good context how the bug should be fixed, how it should be resolved. So giving context from the Sonar Cube how to fix bugs can also help a lot during, more probably during integration testing. And please remember that AI is not, treat AI as an evolution, not revolution. Treat agent as a like 24 hours, 7 days working junior tester who needs to learn at the beginning. As better instruction, as better cursor rules, as better PRD or plans you will give to this agentic AI workflows, as better he will work over the time. And just to summarize, AI is becoming a strategic testing partner, not just a tool. That is my vision, how I see in the future AI helping QA and test automation. Uh, Predictive and productive testing is emerging. AI is used to analyze historical data and application behavior to predict defects. This is another potential of using AI, which I see will be more and more used in the future. It can have broader test coverage and faster cycles, and integration into the software development life cycles and CI/CD pipelines. It's also essential. But still, we need to, for some human-related topics, we need to put human in the loop. So I'm predicting that in the future we will be all of those AI workflows tools agent, they will be like test automation tool 20 years ago. It will be another tool for us, but we'll have much more power if we will know how to use those tools, how to configure those workflows. Because as you can see, if you can develop test cases and save like 60, 70% of your time, why not to use it? But we need to control how it's working. Um, okay, then thank you very much for presentation. And right now is time for your questions and answer. You can scan this QWERTY code, or you can visit my LinkedIn profile, Piotr Szczepaniuk. I have also like the website Flow Automate, where you will find LinkedIn profile, also link to this presentation, and you can leave also email if you would like to discuss something, ask some questions outside. So, time for questions. So, I can see the first question. How to handle with the false positive alarms generated by AI? As you can see in this demo, some tests have failed, and it has managed to self-heal by itself. But apart from self-healing, if you have any failed alarms, failed test, my recommendation is instruct your agent to document why it's failed, what is the root cause. Because if you know the root cause, then you have more context. My answer to this question is, if you recognize some false positive errors, alarms, document it, write it in MD file, create some troubleshooting description, what was the root cause, how it was fixed, add this to the repository. So in the future, if the same false positive arm will be created, it will have this context, and at least for this one, it will be handy. So don't leave false positive alarms without any attention. Try to document it and give context to the AI. This is the way how I handle with false positive errors. We can move to the next one. It was asked by another person. Question is, have you ever had situation where AI had to learn from the tester how to properly analyze results. Yes, definitely many times. The reason why AI had to learn from the tester how to properly analyze results was in almost 90% that I didn't get enough context. By context, I mean some kind of documentation, some kind of part of the source code. And I realized very common when AI did something wrong or hallucinating somewhere, I realized I didn't instruct enough this junior tester. This is how I call this AI agent, and give enough context to this AI. This is the way, and that's happened many times, but over the time it's less and less possible. So it is important to give as much context as possible, create some troubleshooting section where to avoid the same issues and failure in the future. This is the way how we can handle with these problems. Okay, next question. What kind of metrics KPI the best showing effectivity of agentic AI during testing? I think depending on the type of the test and layer of the test, I still quite traditional. So for unit testing, I will say still coverage report giving quite good result. But if you would like to focus on effectiveness of agentic AI workflow, I think what might be good metric is the metric how many tests have had issues, had failed because there was some timeout selector missing for the first time, and after fixing. That might be really good metric and KPI to assess if this agentic AI workflow works or not, and to check effectiveness of this workflow. Is there any other question? No. So I would like to thank you very much for your attention. So if you don't have more questions, this session will be recorded, available on YouTube and Facebook, so you can watch it later. And I recommend you just please connect with me via LinkedIn so we can stay in touch. If you will have some question, you can drop me chat on LinkedIn so we can stay together. Thank you. I wish you a good evening.